So probably one of the weirdest things is that I grew up in Reston, Virginia. And so I come from a group of people that have completely figured out the way to start as many companies as they want in the tech realm. And basically what they do is they just get a different person to be the CEO and have a board of directors that they're on, and they pay their leaders to do what they tell them to do. That's why they're called the acting CEO. They don't really run the company, they just act as the CEO. And people from Reston, Virginia run those companies. Those are the same people who founded Target and Walmart and certain like Mom's Bakeries or Mom's whatever, and like certain taco stuff, and the grocery stores. They figured out how to franchise everything. And then each family has diplomatic immunity with wives or husbands from other countries. And in each place, and in each major city, in each capital, and all these places, all these families own the franchises. They figured out the cookie cutter model to do it, and they just do it in other countries in different languages on the paperwork. And I'm guessing they're getting all the tax breaks that we give people who do their businesses here from other countries. So if you're a foreign person, come to the United States and start a business, you don't have to pay taxes on your business as a business owner for the first 5 years.
So if the Americans did that here and then say, let's do that in your country too. And then every family from Reston has children with different people in different countries as well as their family here. Then you kind of understand, like my understanding of the world. And they kind of got caught because they've been airdropping 30 to fucking 70 billion a week into Kabul in cash. And they inflated our economy so much that we don't even mind when they give away $60 billion to Ukraine. And this is a guy named Zelensky. The funny thing is like, I grew up around people with the same last name, so if their parents, who we think were dead, actually moved to other countries, or just had wives in other countries all over the world, then that means they have children all over the countries in the other world, and they kind of look like the same families from Reston, Virginia that I grew up around. So take my dumb ass, and let me meet all these families, and I can tell you who they are, and who the dads are. You know, they were running around making progeny, and then all these people could have their businesses without taxes, and they can go country to country worldwide, and have hangout spots worldwide. And then they use digital controls to divide people and fuck us up, much in the same way they used to use mountains, rivers, and oceans, and horses and weapons. So, like, now they use the digital divide. And it's sad because some people online in the same country, in the same state, in the same city, if you're on one personal digital divide, you pay a certain amount for products. If you're on another digital divide, you pay another amount for products. And it can be very, very many. And so when you get into coaxial cable, it's cool. But when you get into fiber optics, first they collected all the copper and precious metals. Real easy to do. Then they rolled it up on coils and took it down and put in fiber optics, which is this flexible glass. When they developed bendable glass a little while ago, it was called Gorilla Glass because it was like a TV screen that you could bend. So there's TV screens with curved glass, that's called Gorilla Glass. So fiber optics is just like fishing wire, kind of, or Gorilla Glass is fishing wire. And it's light, somehow, photons being popped through there, rather than electrical currents being run through wires. But now those families collect all the copper and other precious metals, like they did when they said there was a gold rush here in the 1800s, when really they just robbed and kept all the gold hidden away from, say, all the Chinese people that came to work on the railroads that just disappeared, all the natives that disappeared, all the Spanish gold they stole, which is really the gold of Tenochtitlan, and the Mayan gold, and the Incan gold, and the Aztec gold, and all the gold, and the Apache, and the can you understand me yet? And so Reston, Virginia, even though they get that rainbow family, they're a tribe apart. They even wrote a book about it. And they wanted to trick everybody on the planet, maybe some kind of a special guy. But they fucked up because I'm not that stupid, and neither is the rest of the world, and they're all on medication and drugs, apparently. And guess what? Butler, Pennsylvania is where, guess who's from there? Jake the Barber. Jake Strass the Barber. Butler, Pennsylvania. You know, right next to Millville with Mount Alvernia with all the nuns, where they were stealing babies from young children, or young adults, we should say. Young adults, we should say. They were stealing babies from all the people in Pittsburgh and giving them to other families. Now the fact that they made a fake video about Trump being shot at, and guess what? Those weren't even real Secret Service agents. They were hired, contracted Secret Service agents, much like many of the departments here in Washington, D.C. have contracted private security firms to be their police at their different departments of government. So Donald Trump has his own private police force and military force. So them people who cleared the park at Lafayette years ago during that riots and during the summer of Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, Those weren't real troops, American troops. Those were Donald Trump troops. And the Secret Service in Butler, Pennsylvania weren't real Secret Service either. They were Donald Trump's Secret Service that he hired as private security. Guess what, though? All the different reports of the shooters has been different. One report showed the shooter as a kind of a chubby red-haired dude. Another one said it was a 52-year-old man. And guess what? Now some googly-eyed little kid that's actually dead. And all these people in Butler are making up all these lies because they got paid to say it, and they're idiots. They're taking that influencer special $1 trillion money. They're taking that rest on money, rested money. Hey, everybody, rest on. Take the money. Just take the money. Get to work. Take the money. Rest on. It's also KKK money. It's the same shit. Because before they assassinated Nelson Mandela, before they assassinated Dr. King and Malcolm X went to Africa and saw rich blacks, quote unquote, doing the same thing to poor blacks that the American government does here. Dr. King, Martin Luther King Jr., went to Chicago and realized the rich whites did to the poor whites what the rich whites do to the poor blacks in the South. So X and King were talking. Oh, and then they killed him, assassinated him. And then Nelson Mandela spent 25 years in a prison cell shadow boxing. They probably put a prison faggot small dick man in a cell with him so he had to shadow box and fight the guy possibly at first and then keep his ass off him. So that's that shit. Here go to helicopters. Watch this. Good day, my friends. Wow, right over top. Dig it. Yeah, that one you couldn't even see, but that one's over there. Anyways, fun times. So that kind of puts it all a little bit of a nutshell. I've been complaining a lot about these folks for a while because they've all left me out here high and dry in D.C. to die. And they're not using their global power, their legal power, or anything to help me. In fact, last year, that whole Reston crew, Reston Terrorist Association, RTA, headed up by Brian Kung, the artist, who works for Anderson Art Building, or whatever the fuck the art company is, and he lives at the top of the Reston Tower and Town Center, and has a gigantic bodyguard that looks like he lifts too many weights and probably likes to watch Richard Simmons videos or date prostitutes. Those folks. Well, they tried to put me in prison last year in Virginia for 15 years, and the year before that for 5 to 10 years. And guess who jumped on board? Jake Strass, Jake the barber from Butler, Pennsylvania, father of Walt Strass, who is the father of Joanne Strass. Joanne Strass is my Pope mom who experimented on me as a child. And guess what? I think they're all in a lot of fucking trouble. Because guess what Jay Strass, her brother, or Gerald Strass, used to do? He used to take kids up and down the coast who are delinquents on boats on the intercoastal highways. Sounds like a dynamic opportunity for old Uncle Jay to get drunk and traffic children or whoever the fuck he's trafficking. That's Gerald Strass. He's got a brother named John Strass. He goes by Jack Strass. He lives up in Pittsburgh in the North Hills, right next to Chet from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And guess what? Chet's a trainer. Uncle Jack, that motherfucker has 3 nails on the front of his post office box on Waldwick Drive. Then you got old Wally Strass, Walter Joseph Strass II. And then he's got a son, Walter Joseph Strass III. So start adding the pieces up, and no wonder why John Vizdos, my brother, married Teresa Youngberg and moved to Texas and had their children have clearance jobs. And guess what? I'm really seriously guessing their clearance jobs with secret clearance for the government, probably for the NSA, right? Right, Youngbergs? Is to watch my videos and watch me online and probably watch me on drone footage or whatever else they got going on in the government here. So the children out there in Dripping, Texas are getting paid to watch old Uncle Than or Uncle Nate or whatever. He's not our family anyway, just do it, it's the money. So, you kids are taking the money and you're going to watch this video and shit your pants. And I emailed your grandma, Joanna, said they probably all need to be investigated, including y'all. Who knows? Anna Leah, my goddaughter, just got married. I guess she's my goddaughter. Her name's tattooed on my arm. I'll probably get it covered up. But you know what she does for a living? Who the fuck knows? She's got a clearance job. But she studied childcare in college. And she had a clearance job, a secret clearance job, while still studying childcare in college.
Her younger brother, Sam, has a clearance job too, working for rich people on a big farm out there outside of Austin, Texas, Dripping Springs. And they told me all that I'd be fine. And a couple years ago, I decided to drive out there and squash the beef for right after Thanksgiving in 2019. And when I was there, I left a bunch of stuff there, a lot of framed documents and degrees and some art and a few things. I called my brother when I got into this transitional housing back in February. His wife, Teresa Christine Youngberg from Reston, Virginia on Sanibel Drive. Her sister still lives there, sloppy ass bitch. But Teresa's brother tried to give a testimony to the cops last year to get me locked up for 15 years, as did Sean Joyner from Reston. Joyner, die Joyner, Joyner or die. It's German. It means the Joyner or Joyner or die. Like that old flag, die Joyner, Joyner or die. Anyways, he also gave a false testimony, and he's an attorney and in the upper ranks of Christian Scientology, so they done fucked up there too. And then let's add right on top of that that Teresa said she would keep all my stuff for me until I had a safe place to live. When I called John Vizdos, my supposed brother, he said, what? We don't have any of your stuff. We just have one painting of yours. It's the one by somebody else. They have my Christmas llama painting that I bought from an artist down in Fredericksburg, Virginia. It's the only painting I really ever bought. I mean, I probably have a couple, but not really. And he said they have that one, but not my framed college degree, my management development program certificate. Oh, my leadership Fredericksburg class of 2017 certificate. Oh, my Jam for Man 30-year anniversary poster. We used to put on shows for the homeless in Reston, Virginia, and I did a lot of work back then on those shows, artwork and videos. And when they did a 30-year reunion, I did the art. Too bad the guy I did it for, after my wife split up with me, he played both sides of that breakup. He still hangs out with her and the woman's mom and tried to be my friend. Hold on, curfew. Ha 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 ha! Check that shit out. Ha 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 ha! Yeah, that's fucking cool. That's Valley Place right there. 1355 and 1357 Valley Place, Washington, D.C., Anacostia, 20020. And that right there, that's where Frederick Douglass used to live, one of the most important people in history. Dig on that. A lot of helicopters fly over me all the time, even when I'm in Anacostia or when I get back to the city when I go somewhere. It's kind of cool. And when I was in Pittsburgh at 815 Monterey Street in Duquesne, which is a borough, so in DC you call them wards. In Pittsburgh you call them boroughs. 2 airplanes flew over called Civil Air Patrol, and when I waved my hat, they dipped their wing. But one was further out and I had to step around the building, and when I waved my hat, he just changed his tack a little bit. That means just changing by like 2 or 3 degrees rather than a whole dip of the wing. So the helicopters fly by and I like it. What the hell am I doing? I don't know. Ask God. And why do I saying go left or go right? Isn't there another path straight up the middle? And that's true.